The proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Each year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the feast of Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up according to festival custom. After they had completed its days, as they were returning, the boy Jesus remained behind in Jerusalem, but his parents did not know it. Thinking that he was in the caravan, they journeyed for a day and looked for him among their relatives and acquaintances. But not finding him, they returned to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were astounded at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished, and his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been looking for you with great anxiety." And he said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my father's house?" But they did not understand what he said to them. He went down with them and came to Nazareth, and was obedient to them. And his mother kept all these things in her heart. And Jesus advanced in wisdom and age and favor before God and man. The Gospel of the Lord.
Our Gospel reading for this Feast of the Holy Family comes from St. Luke, the story of what we call the finding of Jesus in the temple. We have been reflecting on the dynamism of the family. The family is a living community, so it has dynamism, vitality, it has life. And in the first reading from the book of Sirach, we see how the law of Moses, honor your father and your mother, has been given a dynamic twist, especially when your parents are already quite advanced in age. How do you exercise honor and respect towards parents? So Sirach addresses children. When your parents are already quite old, do not leave them, take care of them. Do not cause any further grief in their hearts. And when their minds are already failing, be considerate to them, and do not revile them because you are stronger than they. So here we find the commandment being given a very concrete and dynamic living out. And the children who render to their parents such respect are promised that their sins will be forgiven and their prayers will be heard. In the second reading from the letter of Paul to the Colossians, we have another dynamism of the family. The family is really the living cell of the wider society and even of the church. The social virtues of meekness, kindness, humility, love, they're all learned in the family. When husbands and wives submit to one another in love, when children submit to their parents in love. So this is not slavery, but it is the dynamism of love that makes me look at the other as more important than I am. So here we find what the church has always been teaching. The family is the basic unit not only of the church but of society. Now, in the Gospel, we find all of this exemplified in this nuclear family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Look at the dynamism. We are still within the Christmas season, and we have to take seriously the fact that the Word of God became flesh. So Jesus was born in Bethlehem, and as flesh, as a human being, he will have to grow up. And here we find Jesus already at the age of 12. Look at what the human family of Jesus did to him. Joseph and Mary passed on to Jesus the traditions, the pious traditions of the Jewish people. They brought him to Jerusalem to observe the Sabbath. So dear parents, learning from Mary and Joseph, please review, what are you passing on to your children? Do you pass on virtues? Do you pass on religiosity? The way Jesus learned religiosity from his parents, Mary and Joseph. Now, after performing the customary rituals, they would return home. But this is a nightmare for parents. When they reached Nazareth, they discovered that Jesus was not with them. No? Somehow, something went wrong. You lose a child. And Mary, Joseph, must have been frantic. They lost not only an ordinary child. They were told before the birth of this child that this child was the Son of the Most High God. Imagine, Mary and Joseph probably, were at their wits' ends. How will they face God? How will they render an account to God? We lost your son. But this is not an extraordinary experience, as it were. Many of you parents, you lose your children when they reach a certain age. When they become adolescents, you start losing them in a way. They don't join you anymore. They frequent their friends' house, etc. But look at the integrity of Mary and Joseph. They journeyed back to Jerusalem to look for the child. And lo and behold, they found Jesus at the age of 12, deliberately staying behind, listening to the teachers and answering them intelligently. The teachers were astonished, and they probably asked, who is this child? Who are the parents of this child? What did the parents of this child do to him for him to be as intelligent as he is right now? But when Mary and Joseph found him, of course, with relief, just like any parent would experience such relief upon finding a lost child, they were more astonished to find him not in the playground, not in some indecent place that are frequented by adolescents. He was in the temple and in the company of experts. And they were more astonished when he answered to their question why he did this to them. He said, but why did you look for me? Don't you know that I should be in my Father's house? Don't you know that I should be about my Father's business? Who is this child? Who is this child? But we find in Jesus a human person. Of course, we know he is the Son of God, but he's fully human. And he is now acquiring his own personality. He is becoming clear about the direction of his life, and he is now beginning to make decisions. But in the end, as a human child, he went with his parents back to Nazareth. He submitted to God's will. The God who chose Mary and Joseph to be his parents. So submitting to them was a submission also to the will of the Father. And by fulfilling what St. Paul says in the second reading, by their mutual submission in love, this holy family, they produce a child, Jesus, who grew in wisdom and age before God and before human beings. So we find in the story of the Holy Family in Jerusalem when Jesus was 12 years old, the dynamism, the beauty of a family that submits to God, and therefore they submit to one another in love. This is the basic cell of the church. This is the basic cell of society, where people learn virtues, especially love and obedience to the Father. I am grateful to God that at my age, I'm 55 years old, I still have my parents and I have my brother. And it's always a consolation for me, not only to realize how much my parents have taken care of my brother and myself, but also the challenge for me and the calling now at this stage of my life to also take care of them to the best that I could, given the limitations of my life and my mission. And it is a mutual taking care of. They continue taking care of me, even if I'm already Archbishop and Cardinal. But now I also try my best, and my brother also tries his best to give to them who have really labored hard for us, the honor, the ease, the joy that they deserve. Once I was really touched when my mother told me, we thank you and your brother. Because of you, we have acquired new friends. We have learned many new things, and we have had new experiences that probably we would not have had if not for our children. So you see, it is this never-ending circulation of love, the dynamism of a family. The word has been exposed. Let us now fulfill it. In this day and age, social networking has become a very convenient mode of communication among people. With just a click and the power of the internet, you are able to reach your loved ones wherever they are. On the other hand, it is saddening and alarming to know that there are some people who take advantage of the reach and availability of social networking sites, spreading scandals and false information about a certain entity or personality, engaging in fraud and scams, and at times pretending to be someone else. Recently, I have been getting reports that there are fan pages and personal accounts under my name and are circulating over Facebook. To set the record straight, I have no personal Facebook account. Rather, I have only one Facebook page, and it is being maintained by Jesuit Communications. I seek your help in reporting fraudulent pages and accounts, not only those concerned with myself, but also with other people and entities. Let us keep the social networking world a good communication venue by being truthful.